Okay, we're going to start with the nation. Student loan plans spark controversy in universities. NBS discos raked in $247 billion in Q1. Imo to revisit Okorocha probe. Envoy, reforms well received in UK. Makinde tips 6 commissioners to return. Ogbe to government. State police will end insecurity. What I told President, says Bill Gates. And Eco Rice enters market sales for 33,000 naira. Okay, we'll start with the major headline.
Yes, I have the major headline. So, labor centers in the universities are divided over the student loan policy initiated by the federal government, which was supposed to begin in September. So, according to them, they said the policy has further deepened the division between the Congress of Nigerian University Academics, that's CONUA, and the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU. While CONUA is in support of the policy, ASU is saying that it's quite discriminatory, and they all give their reasons. So CONUA is saying that the schools, students are able to approach or finish up their education with the bank loans without interest, and then we'll not have issues of students who are leaving school because they are not able to complete their education. That, however, they found some discrepancies and some gray areas that need to be verified and clarified. And once that is done, the policy will be good to go. ASU, on the other hand, is saying that it's discriminatory, it's discriminating the poor from people who are just above, minimum wage, saying that, the policy has said that 500, if your parents are earning 500 in a year, that means you are qualified. If it's over 500, that means you're not qualified to access the loan. That means people who get paid minimum wage, which is 30,000 naira, get about 700 and something. That means they're disqualified from accessing that loan, and it will not work for, the Nigerian populace. Parents, on the other hand, are supporting the loan because it's more like a relief of the burden of paying fees for the people. They're also talking about the fact that when you graduate and finish your NYSC, you're supposed to be paying back in 2 years. CONUA is saying this will give an opportunity for government to employ those people who had gone through the loan so that they are able to pay back. ASU is saying it's not possible that they will have a lot of debts hanging on their head. So I think these gray areas, they need to really fine-tune.
Yeah, I mean, student loans across the world is not for everybody. Not everybody can afford it. Not everybody has access to it. So there is discrimination. You can't give loans to every single person because you have to ensure they have the ability to pay back.
Even the poor now.
So, well...
30,000 minimum wage, you are not able to access it because your money gets to like 700 and something.
Well, it's a conversation we'll have, but it's something worth looking into.
I think they need to fine-tune it. They have not fine-tuned it. They need to make it accessible.
Yes.
And they need to make sure that the Nigerian factor is not there, where I will sit on it and it's only my own relatives that will, So it's one thing to have good...
Envoy, let's talk about the fact that the... economic reforms of the federal government has been well received by international organizations, especially the fact that our president went to France. He was there to sign the 2-day Global Financial Pact Summit. He was there for 2 days, starting actually today. And the British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Richard Montgomery, who met with Vice President Kasim Shettima yesterday, said that the Nigeria is being looked at as a big opportunity. The envoy said that they had welcomed the development in the last 3 weeks by the president, and other countries such as Switzerland, America, France, and others are looking to have a meeting with President of Nigeria to see other opportunities that they can also key into. He said that Mr. President has taken some bold steps in the last few weeks, which has encouraged international community and seen Nigeria as a big opportunity to actually engage with.
Okay, I wanted to take the story, the one in red, about the 20 people that were burnt and killed in Plateau. In Plateau State.
Okay, yes, 20 people killed in Plateau attacks.
Yeah, the attacks were in Buai and Chisu in the Mangu local government, in the Mangu local of Benue State. They, I read it in 2 papers. One paper, Tribune, said that the people of the village had got wind that the thing was happening. It's going to happen. They had informed the authorities, but
nothing was done.
Some of them had even gone to go and wait. But the militias, they had heard that they were waiting for them, and some vigilantes had gone to wait for them. So they took another route when they got there. And, they decided to ransack the village, and some of them ran to the church to go and... That's where they went and caught them. Blocked one entrance here, entrance and the back entrance. And then they now burnt the building.
Oh, God.
11 of them were burnt to death. Oh. Very, very sad. Then they now went to the other Chisu and then beat people and killed them, burned them to death. Meanwhile, somebody, whether the member of the State House was saying that no, they didn't hear, or they just heard that it was repelled.
Wow.
Meanwhile, they have the dead bodies to...
Really, really sad.
I'll take the story about Eco Rice. Lagos State launched this project. It was historic because it was the first product to be launched indigenously on the Lagos Commodity and Future Exchange. And it was launched as a 5 billion eco 32 metric tons per hour immortal rice mill in Ikorodu. Now the rice enters the market at 33,000 naira for 50 kg and is being promoted as a major initiative. I think that by the time we get to see it in the local market, we'll be happy about it. But according to what I'm reading in the papers, it is there's a fund to back it up, 30 billion private commodity note insurance program facilitated by Lagos State to ensure undisrupted paddy supply. Nima is always talking about the fact that we don't get enough paddies. So with the fact that there's already a processing mill in Imota, Ikorodu, and then we have funds for paddy supply, we should be able to get this rice coming in constantly, and maybe over time, a price might drop from 33,000 naira, which is the price it is being pegged at right now.
Okay, let's move on to the Punch. 2,000 vacancies open for APC faithful Tinubu's allies. Lagos rice value chain created 2,620 jobs, says Sanwo-Olu. Residents panic as bandits' reign of terror returns to Ondo. Labour fumes as Ramfak hikes politicians' salaries. Makinde elevates Ladoja, 10 other Ibadan high chiefs to Oba. Hearing continues in the Ezani's case on forfeited assets. Egbetokun plans tech-driven policing, improved welfare, and DSS Combs Bawa's Abuja home extends probe to associates. Okay, which story are we starting with?
We do RAMFAC.
Okay, let's do RAMFAC.
The Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission, RAMFAC, recommended an upward review in the basic salaries of political and judicial office holders. The chairman of the commission, Alhaji Muhammadu Shehu, represented by the RAMFAC commissioner from Kebbi State, Mrs. Raki Atanko Ayuba, said this on Tuesday in Brenin, Kebbi, during the presentation of the reviewed remuneration package for political and judicial office holders to the state governor, Dr. Nasser Idris. And, commenting on the proposed salary increase, the organized labor described it as provocative because of the fuel subsidy removal pain that Nigerians were currently going through. The News Agency of Nigeria also said that the proposed review salary required legislation by the National and State Assemblies before they go ahead to implement it. And the last review was done in 2007, which led to the 2008 Act on the Remuneration of Political Office Holders. So it hasn't been done for some time. But now they had to consider the consumer price index of some selected basket of commodities, which has collectively grown by an average of 371% from 2008 to 2022. And so they have decided to, adjust this basic pay by 104% of what they are currently receiving. So there's a lot of backlash. When I was coming to work this morning, I was even listening to it on the radio, and people are saying that it seems like the government is not testing the pulse of the people. They cannot remove subsidy. They haven't even finished the negotiation on increasing minimum wage or not, and they are thinking of that this is not the right time for this. Even if they had that thought, it shouldn't even be in public space, because Nigerians will feel, a certain type of, it's very annoying that the government is looking at reviewing their own salaries upward, and then we are still discussing minimum wage from 30,000 to 150 or 200,000 fuel subsidy.
That's why it's important for us as our show to be able to segment federal government from RAMFAC's recommendation. There are two different things. Let us not
of course.
Because Nigerians just say, oh, government wants to, but that's not it. Government has not come out to say, because if they wanted to, they would have seen a press release from the government in charge. So RAMFAC is proposing. RAMFAC that is in charge of RAMFAC should be the one to be held accountable for this recommendation.
Can we talk about the last time this change, the RAMFAC has reviewed? in 16 years, Rampark hasn't done any
Yes.
review.
Yeah.
So why is it now that they remove subsidies? So they're different
Yes,
angles.
they're
No,
different
but
angles to it,
because 16 years is a long time.
Yes.
They are due for a review.
Understandably.
Okay, not now.
Understandably, but
They are
Nigerians
not
are
due
saying
whether they are due for a
They are not due, not now. They are here to serve. Let them serve first.
They have just
don't know
our
that
topic.
we should
it's not our topic.
tighten our seatbelt.
And then you people are
we are in for a very
opening your own
why-
turbulent ride.
That is why we
And you
must
are now coming
always to differentiate who is where
This
this
is coming from. Yes,
the
I
quarters
agree
are
with you.
different, and Nigerians must know the difference. If not,
Yes.
we just have this conversation around saying, "Oh, government is this."
but we are
know-
waiting
know
to
it's
hear from the
rampant.
government.
We know it's rampant because one of them was on TV defending it.
Yeah.
9:18, we have to go
they
on a
have
break.
never.
So staying with us, we're still reviewing Punch. Let me take the story for the acting Inspector General of Police. So he had on Wednesday assumed office for the first time in Abuja, and he said on his watch, policing will be mostly technology-driven. He said that's going to improve the welfare of policemen in general. Yesterday, he was really specific in saying that Nigerian police force will strive for excellence, transparency, and accountability. Will include a technology-driven approach to leveraging other techniques to ensure effective and efficient resources. Going to what BC has mentioned yesterday, he said we'll introduce programs to strengthen the minds and hearts of every officer. We cater for their psychological and physical needs. We will secure the nation. So hopefully they are thinking of the mental examinations of our police officers, ensure that they have a better mental health, hopefully going forward. All right, another story in Punch.
I hope they look at their pensions too.
We
Welfare
discussed,
is part of what you said.
we discussed everything yesterday. So I have a story.
Should we move on? Let's move on to the
I have one from inside
Okay.
about this young lady on the Metro page in River State who was with her boyfriend, a barber popularly known as Otubong, and they were having some engagements when the guy slumped.
Eh?
What kind of engagement?
Engagement, no, ne? Engagement.
The other engagement.
The engagement that can give you heart attack.
Oh.
exercise, like normal exercise.
Okay. Lifting weights.
Yeah.
So when the thing happened, the woman just bailed because she died now. So she ran. Police now started looking for her. When she heard the police were looking for her, she now went to go and
Yes, present herself.
present herself. So they arrested her, and a lady, the vice chairman of the Center for Basic Rights Protection and Accountability Campaign, Afudoza Stephen, says they shouldn't stigmatize her and they should carry out the investigations properly because she's the one that presented herself. They didn't have to look for her. So
Okay.
they heard that the guy took some enhancement drugs.
Yeah.
perform.
I think we need to discuss that thing because it tends to, there's a relationship between performance enhancement drugs and
Cardiac
having,
attack.
yes, and people don't know. I want to take the story of investigation into the suspended EFCC boss that Bawa the DSS visited his house in Abuja, in Jabi, and they also visited the office, I think it's the office at the EFCC headquarters in Jabi on Saturday to search. They had their search warrants to search the premises. They went to his house as well, met his wife and children, and searched the house to get whatever they feel would support their investigation. They said they also went to visit some of Bawa's close associates in the office who were invited for questioning this week, that they wanted to get information about the allegations of mismanagement, misappropriation, and diversion of profited assets sold under Bawa's watch. So these are the allegations against the EFCC former boss, and the DSS is conducting the investigation to bring up a case. They say the DSS is yet to charge him to court, but they are still carrying out their investigation to get enough evidence to help their case.
Daily Sun, appointment seekers intensify lobby follow Tinubu abroad. IPOB, Kano's councillors, Ekome Ejiofor not sacked. 190 applicants jostle for PTDF overseas scholarship in Southeast. Egbetokun assumes office as IGP, calls for synergy. Change of service chiefs, Afenifere expresses optimism of better security. Strengthening families, participants laud Latter-day Saints for organizing conference. Fuel subsidy removal, good for investment, says British envoy. And Imo government gets ultimatum to implement white paper indicting Okorocha. Let me take the major headlines. So ahead of the official announcement of the ministerial nominees by President Bola Tinubu, many key politicians have followed him to France with the hopes of lobbying him to ensure that they also get an appointment. According to the Constitution, both presidents and elected governors must provide the names of their commissioners and ministers within 60 days. So this means that the president and all governors must submit their names. And with barely 5 weeks left, everybody, according to this report, are trying to see what they can do to get nominated by the president. The Senate currently, according to the Sun, multiple sources said that former governors who are current senators are among lobbyists for ministerial slots. The source also listed 6 out of the 14 former governors serving as senators in the 10th National Assembly. He said that 90% of those lobbying for their jobs left office in May upon the expiration of their tenure. So we can expect that all the other governors who left office are all, so many of them just followed Oga to France. Now we have a bit of privacy. Yeah, how far now?
What can I get?
What can you do? What can you give to me? So we'll see how that goes.
I wouldn't even mind if they followed because they wanted to serve. Everybody is going for their own selfish reason. Please go. If you
really want to serve, you will not lobby.
Want to serve and turn this country around.
How would you assume it's for selfish reasons?
You will travel with your funds. If you want to serve, you will stay when you know your value.
You will stay here. You will know that your record.
So, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, my father's church, and the church I grew up in, organized a conference called Organizing and Strengthening Families Conference. Organizing the Strengthening Families Conference. And they had participants from all over the world coming there. It happened in Abuja International Conference Center. And they talked about the fact that they needed to strengthen families. So in the remark by the General Authority and President of Africa West Area Presidency, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Gifford Nielsen, he said Africa is home to the world's largest youth population, with about 60% of the continent's people being below 25 years of age. And that is what they call a rising generation. So we love them and we have so much faith and hope for them. But they need to have the right tools. With the right tools, education, resources, and encouragement, these young people can begin to represent Africa positively for a better future. And the gift we can give to them, which was very important for me, is a stable and loving family. That's what we can give to them. And they try to encourage even government officials, to make policies that encourage parenthood, family. The church is big on families. They have a doctrine in the church that says...
we have a few minutes.
I have a story.
Go ahead.
Imo government. You wanted to take it? You can take it. Because
the NGO is called Sincere Concern Organization. They have given 1 month ultimatum. The Director General, Mrs. Olufunke Lemechi, said that the people of Imo, there's a white paper that was presented 2 years ago, and they haven't implemented it. The white paper indicted former Governor Owele Okorocha of 130 billion looted from the state coffers. They said himself and the people that he empowered are still working free. They don't want any of them to die before they get justice. They also said that there are people that the former governor is trying to install his person into power, and they don't want the person to get into power before they're able to. So that they want implementation of the white paper indicting the former governor of Imo State, so that the Imo people receive justice. That's
the 130 billion contracts were through phony contract awards and they appropriate land to themselves. Okay. I hope it's not one of the people that have gone to France.
Vanguard, still clear of more borrowing, DMO cautions federal government. Ministerial slots, Tinubu may dump ex-governors, prefers technocrats, says source. Medical leave, Ondo deputy governor moves against Akeredolu. Tinubu Shetima governors, judges, others to get 114% salary increase, says Ramfak. That's what they call that thing. Whatever. My daughter excited. I'll see Burna Boy Rema in Nigeria, says Bill Gates. FGOK's reopening of Seme border for vehicle importation. Let's find another story. Kano governor reinstates anti-graft commission, bus suspended by Ganduje. Plateau, about 14 killed in night attack on 2 communities. Okay, which story are we taking in Vanguard?
We can do the reopening of the Seme border for imports. So the Lagos Director of Road Transport in the Ministry of Transportation, Ibrahim Musa, yesterday said that the federal government has approved the reopening of the Seme border for the importation of vehicles. And he was speaking at the Economic Community of West African States ECOWAS meeting organized between officials of Nigeria and Benin. He said the development followed the different complaints by freight forwarders operating at the Seme border. I think when the border was closed, they were out of business. They were not making any form of money. So they had appealed to the commission, and they had to, present the matter to the federal government. They looked at all the things that they said they wanted to be done, and now it's going to be open for them to reactivate the free movement of goods and services at the border. I don't know how this affects us, whether it's positive or negative, since we're looking to begin manufacturing now.
All right, so Bill Gates was in Nigeria. Many of you saw the pictures and videos. And while he was giving a speech yesterday, he was talking about the fact that his daughter was excited. His daughter, his 20-year-old daughter, Phoebe, was saying that she was excited that her father was going to Nigeria because she's going to get to see Burna Boy and Rema. According to him, he said, when my daughter Phoebe heard I was coming to Nigeria, she said, you're lucky because you get to see Burna Boy and Rema. Wow. He said, I had to remember the last time he came, he saw Davido and Wizkid. He had to look up. He said, I had to look them up because I'm so hip. The Gates noted that Nigeria was filled with creative minds, and that Afrobeats from Nigeria were popular everywhere. Stated further that they're going to also, that they can't help but mention the amazing creativity that goes on in Nigeria. So obviously, gradually, international community is seeing us. And
yeah, I wanted to take the frosty relationship between the governor, Rotimi Akeredolu, and his deputy, Lucky. Yes. I get that you were. Yeah, they said that fresh facts have emerged where he's trying to undermine the governor's authority, where he's saying he won't do the things that the governor, his schedule, and he says that whatever the governor earned is what he too should earn. And he's
currently sitting in for the governor now.
He's sitting in for the governor. But they said he's acting. But they said he's now asking to go into the treasury. This is by anonymous people.
This is Vanguard.
Political.
Also, we have to be careful because all these papers, they have ways they frame these stories. Because there's one story that was read in different ways and printed in different ways. So let's be careful. We'll try to get more information about this story because last time I read, he was saying that I'm working together with the governor and we're going to ensure that we continue.
Even in this story,
but that wasn't what came out
initially. He says it is rumors.
So
the Vanguard had put the story
first.
So framing all of them.
The people on his own side said they are rumors.
Okay, that's all we can.
Praying for the quick recovery of the governor.
That's all we can take on.
But you didn't let me finish.
No, they didn't let me finish before.